You are absolutely right that there is a pervasive view that Zionism in Israel are colonial, that Zionism is a colonial movement of foreigners, that foreigners have come to a foreign land, and that their action of coming to the land involved displacing a local indigenous population. Both are completely wrong. Zionism, and what makes it so special and inspirational, was a movement of an indigenous people liberating themselves, self-determining, achieving sovereignty, even though they have been dispersed. This is an indigenous people who have been dispersed into exile by the Roman Empire and remarkably remained true to their ancient homeland throughout the centuries, in prayer, in ritual, in poetry, and in an ongoing yearning to return. So after 2,000 years, Zionism was about realizing that ancient yearning. So this is about an indigenous people who kept the indigenous connection to that land, even when they did not live on it, but they are of that land and always wanted to return to that land. The other thing is that when the Jewish people returned to the land of Israel, at the time it was part of the Ottoman Empire, their coming back was never about displacing those who were living there at that time. You read all the early Zionist leaders and thinkers, they believed that there would be room for everyone, and they were right. There were merely tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people at the time living on the land. Now there are 12 million. There was clearly room for everyone. So for all the first decades, as the Jews returned to Israel, there is no displacement at all of the local population. When does displacement happen? Displacement only happens when the Arabs declare war against the Jews, wanting to displace them, and lose the war and find themselves displaced as a return. Very few people are aware that as part of the Arab declaration of war against the nascent Jewish state, they displaced 1 million Jews who lived in Arab lands, some of them predating Islam, in revenge again for the preposterous idea that the Jews claimed equality and sovereignty in their midst. So Zionism is a movement of liberation of an indigenous people who stayed true to their land, and it was never about displacement. And had the Arabs accepted partition and accepted the Jewish people as their equal claimants to the land, no one would have had to be moved an inch, and they would have never left their homes and fled their homes and have been displaced. So I think it's very important to set that record straight.